So welcome to the Global Network webinars. My name is Alexander Loschke, and I will be moderating this webinar today together with my colleague Panya Yu. Today we have with us a few colleagues from the UN Statistics Division. So we have with us Yongyi Min, Kenneth Durrell, Darrell Taylor, Daniela Figueroa, and Luis Gonzalez, who will present on updates and advancements of the UN data platform. Today I will keep the introduction part really short, as our first speaker, Yongyi Min, will explain the format of this webinar and will also introduce herself and the other speakers. Just before I hand over to Yongyi, just some practical remarks. And so during the webinar, you will have opportunities to provide feedback on what is being presented. And we will also have a Q&A session towards the end of the webinars. You can write comments and questions into the meeting chat at any time. And during the Q&A session, it would be nice if you could ask the question yourself, but we can also do that for you if needed. As always, this global network webinar is being recorded and will be made available on the global network of data officers and statisticians at yammer.com/UNstats. So if you haven't joined the network yet, we invite you to follow the link in the chat. I will put it there in a few seconds, and please sign up. And now I will, without further ado, hand over to Yongyi. So Yongyi, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alex. And dear colleagues, welcome. Thank you for joining today's webinar. My name is Yongyi Min. I'm the Chief of SDG Monitoring Section and at the UN Statistical Divisions. And today I would like to join some of my colleagues from the UN Data Project team to present the updates and advancements with the UN Data Platform. And in today's webinar, maybe before I start, I would like to introduce some of the core teams. And first, I would like to introduce my colleague, Kenneth Durrell. He's a product manager for the UN Data Platform. And joining with him is Darrell Taylor. Darrell is a UN Data Platform UX designer. And together we also have Daniela Figueroa. She is a knowledge management and the communication specialist in the UN Data Platform. Last but not least, we also have Luis Gonzalez. Luis is the chief of the Data Innovation Section in the UN Statistical Division, and he also co-leads the UN Data Modernization project with me. So at time when data serve as a foundation of informed decision making, we as the UN Statistical Division, together with our valued partners, are committed to enhance the accessibility, integration, and the usability of UN data resources. Today's sessions we will showcase our latest advancements in modernizing the UN data platform, showing how we are making statistical information more user-friendly, interoperable, and AI-ready for stakeholders across all sectors. So this initiative directly responds to the Secretary General's vision for data-driven United Nations, leveraging cutting-edge technology to create a central hub for seamless access to official UN data. So with the strong support from the whole UN system and the member state, our work aligns strategically with the UN system-wide roadmap for innovating UN data and statistics. So I also want to highlight our partnership with the Data Commons, through which the UN Data Project team is harnessing its open source technologies. So this collaboration also enables us to provide the policymaker, research NGOs, and the public with powerful insight and the visualizations on SDG progress and also the key UN thematic areas. So during today's interactive session, we'll be sharing the latest updates in the UN Data Platform, including new integrated data sets, data stories, infographics, and improved functionality for better searchability and user experience. We will also focus on the SDG thematic areas and the natural language search sections. So your perspective and input is very valuable to our ongoing development efforts. So throughout the webinar, we will conduct real-time polls while navigating various platform features, focusing especially on navigation elements, our natural language search capability, and the visualization tools. We'll also reserve time for a comprehensive Q&A session to address your question and gather additional insight. So thank you for being here and for contributing to the ongoing development of the UN Data Platform. So now I will hand over to my colleague Daniela, who will begin with our first interactive polls and provide an overview of the UN Data Platform's core capability. Over to you, Daniela.
Thank you very much, Yongyi, for the great opening. And before we start, we would like to know more about you and the sector you work for. So on the right side of your screen, you will find a quick poll for you to answer. Let me just launch the poll. You can select one of the multiple options. Let's give everyone a few seconds to respond. It is great to see participants from the UN system and also other international organizations, as well as other governments. Thank you, everyone, and academia as well. Private sector is present as well. So thank you, everyone, for all your responses. And now we can pass to what is UN Data Platform. UN Data is a tool for extracting insights from data available across the UN system for better usability and impact, leveraging semantic web technologies and interoperability standards. Through UN Data, you will be able to search and explore high-quality data sets to empower evidence-based decision-making. The main components include data integration pipelines, and also we are bringing data out of the traditional data warehouses into a knowledge graph approach using semantic web and open data. This enables us to start building natural language search capabilities, dynamic data visualizations, user-friendly front-end APIs, and also through UN Data, we want to have resources for capacity development, communication, and outreach. We can now pass to the goals, UN Data goals. So the goals of UN Data are mostly about data integration, making the data visible from the different UN agencies, providing a single entry point for authoritative data provided by the UN system, making data easily discoverable and searchable. But not only data, but also the related information resources, such as data stories and infographics. It's about interoperability, data integration, cross-domain, by harmonizing concepts that are used by different domain areas into a coherent schema to make that in a way that the integration of data is the most automated and standardized as possible. So this integration of data, it's a bit smoother. We can pass to the next slide, please. So here is an update of our current status. So in September 2023, we released the global SDG indicator database. We updated SDG indicators in July 2024, and recently, last March, we did another update. In March 2024, we released the data from the WHO, and we are also currently making an update as well. For ILO and UNICEF, we are working in parallel, and we are currently in the final review, and we expect to release their data early May, and we are basically in the final stage of the onboarding process with ILO and UNICEF. In terms of upcoming datasets, we have in our pipeline UNODC datasets and DESA datasets, such as Comtrade, minimum gender datasets, a statistical yearbook, demographic yearbook, and so on. Now, I will hand over to Darrell for a quick overview of the site. Thank you very much.
Darrell, just in case you were muted.
Can you hear me okay now?
Yep, now I can hear you.
Great.
Thanks.
Let me switch this to presentation mode. Great, and thank you again, Daniela. I'm Darrell, I'm a UX designer on the UN Data team. Our goal in the UN Data team is to organize the UN Data platform into a central repository, driving users to the data that can support the project goals and analysis needs by surfacing the latest SDG goals, data sets, data stories, and infographics, and also by onboarding and ingesting over 1,700 indicators from our data partners currently. We're currently working with WHO and UNICEF. We're also looking to modernize the platform with the integrations of the natural language search, and this will help surface the most relevant data on the UN Data platform based off of the user queries that they would want to look for. Today we're going to be demoing the latest features on the platform and updates. What we'll be looking through are the SDGs, which will be a catalog overview and how we are showcasing the context for the 17 goals. We'll also be looking at the thematic areas and a catalog overview of how we're aligning and ingesting content within the new 12 themes within the UN Data platform. We'll also be looking at natural language search and surfacing the most relevant content based off of user queries. And then note, a lot of these updates we're showing you today is based off of you, the users, providing us feedback through user forum, through studies, and also surveys. So we definitely thank you for your feedback and continued support. Before we jump in to the demo, we have a survey question for you. We wanted to have everyone answer a quick poll question. Which SDG are you most interested in? So if you could use the team chat to answer your question, that would be great. Okay, I'll give a few more seconds for the people to add their thoughts in. Okay, great. Thanks for all the feedback so far. What I'm going to do is switch over to our demo. Okay. So the features that we're going to run you through today are the new updates to our landing page. We're continuing to update the key features at the top menu in the gray bar. Any new key features that we add or support, like our new help section, we'll be continuing to add there. A quick jump link for users to quickly get into natural language search is the top blue section here, where users can add in a query and jump right away into the data and context of what we're providing on the UN Data platform. We're also surfacing relevant SDG data information through stories and infographics, and then also by countries and areas specific to SDG content and data. We're also providing thematic areas as quick jump links to learn more about the themes that we've created, and also to learn more about the context within them. We also have news section where users can learn about upcoming events that are specific to the UN Data platform, and then also other related content that's in supportive of the site. We're also working with our data partners to ingest new data insights stories, so working together to find the right and the most relevant content for users as they look at content within the site. And as we onboard new data partners, we're adding them to the list of data partners and then creating a page that's unique for the data partners so the users can understand where the content is coming from, also understand the types of indicators, and then also the recency of the latest pushes of content. So the first section we wanted to showcase to you today is the SDG section. So within the SDG landing page, we provide a quick overview of what the SDGs are, and then allow users to kind of explore the content based off of a country or an area location, so they can start investigating and exploring the data based off of an area or location. We're also providing a quick context of being able to jump into an SDG specifically to one to focus on, or to look at them all across the full set. So in this case, we're actually going to look at the all SDG goals. So we'll select on this jump link. At the top, you can see that we have a new preview of a filtered search. So users can now filter across the SDG goals. So if they're looking for something specific, they can add in keywords or queries to surface the relevant data that's available on the platform for the SDGs. As Daniela mentioned, we've ingested the latest rounds of SDG information, so users should be able to surface and surface context within the latest updates. Users can also view the content by world or select a different area or region to zone in the content for their specific area and needs. Users can also focus content around specific goals, and then also specific targets as well. What I wanted to walk through is some of the examples. So if we were to explore one of the goals, we can start to see we're explaining a little bit more about the goal itself, its insights, information, and then any infographics that pertain to that particular goal. Within the catalog, we're giving this overview perspective to quickly understand what these goals are. With a simple click, you can switch back over to the catalog view, which is the full index list of all of the available items within the catalog. So users can see that we currently have found 76 items within this section. So we'll expand one of the sections to kind of understand the architecture of the catalog. So what we're taking a look at here is the goal, the target, the indicator, and the disaggregated series built up based off of the catalog index. So users can quickly jump around and explore the content through a navigated system. So if we take a look at one of the targets, you can see the available content which lives within that target. So what we're looking at here is everything based off of 1.2.2. We're able to look at all the indicators that make up that particular target. So what we're looking at here is the content based off of world. Users can quickly change world to Africa or a specific region to quickly change content, which was challenging before, but now it's quicker to kind of get to this content. So this is the great work that we've been doing in the back end to kind of align content and being able to quickly transition from one area location to another. When users want to look at stuff specifically for one chart, we're actually honing it down to a specific chart level. So you can look at single entities to then share content with other users and peers. So users can switch and view content in a single lens. So these are some of the updates that are soon to be released that you'll be able to experience in the UN data today. Next, let's take a look at the thematic areas. So within the thematic areas, you'll notice that the layout and look and feel is similar to the SDGs, so that it's familiar to users, so they can quickly explore and experiment with the data that's available within the themes by a selection of a country or area. Users can also learn about the 12 different themes by selecting on individual ones or viewing all of them at once. In this case, we'll take a look at all of them at once. So as we're looking at the catalog here, users can also quickly do a search across the whole index of the thematic areas to quickly surface relevant content that's available within the platform through keywords and queries. So users are able to find and explore content across multiple themes at once. So what we'll do next is we'll expand. So as we expand each of the sections, we're providing a quick overview about what this particular theme is about and all of the key subthemes that are available within that section. So users can get an understanding of what this theme is about. And then with one click, they can actually switch back to the list view and view all of the context of that particular theme. So once we go through the section here, we can start to see how we're breaking out the contents within the theme. So we're looking at the 12 different themes. They're broken out by theme. They're also broken out by sub-themes and disaggregated series. So if we were to take a look at one of the sub-themes, we can start to take a look at all of the content, which is that makes up that sub-theme. So users can quickly scan through the 392 items that are available by scrolling through. Users can also quickly switch between chart view and a list view to quickly scan content, which would have been multiple pages long, to quickly see things quicker. And then where the power comes in for this view is when we're starting to look at content. So we're seeing content by the world, we're also seeing content by a particular theme, but we're also looking at content by particular partners as well. So we're able to go back, change. So if we were to view content by particular partners, this is the power of what we're providing right now. So if we were to look for something specific, in this case, we're looking for respiratory infections, we can start to see content that goes across multiple partners. So I'll go to the list view so you can see the content here. So with the navigation, what we're providing users is they can quickly see content. And as you start to understand with multiple partners will start to be appearing here as well. So users can quickly understand what this chart is in relationship to this chart here. So if a user found this one chart more important for them to use for a case study, they can quickly add a shareable link or download the information that's available here for their use cases. So this is a great example to kind of showcase the power of bringing the content to one source to be able to search and explore. So these are some of the features we are working on for the catalog to help organize the information for the thematic areas. So now let's take a look at the natural language search. Okay. To enter the natural language search, you can view it through the search, or you can go to the home page and view from that top section. Within the natural language search, we're allowing users to enter in queries as if they had their own perspective. So queries can be entered as simple as GDP in the world. We can surface content in a format that is most relevant information will be populated to the top. This is where the backend is working on trying to prioritize the information that users see to the top and surfacing the most relevant details for those users. What we're also exploring is people don't enter information in exactly the same ways. So maybe someone adds in the content in a similar way, but in a different type of query. So asking the same question surfaces pretty much the similar or same results, which is pretty much what we want to see. But we're also adding in the features with a natural language search to be able to change from world to Africa. You quickly change content from one lens to another just through the query. So this kind of showcases the power of a simple query, and then also with the keywords of location to be able to provide you with the right context at the right time. What we're also doing is looking at the more complex types of queries. So allowing the users to kind of add different levels of context in their query. So in this example, we're going to show you, here's a comparison between multiple areas and then trying to see the values for climate change. So this is an example of just showing you the power of what we're doing with the natural language search, of bringing multiple different locations together to provide you the content that is available within the library. So we're excited to share these updates with you and look forward to your feedback so we continue to improve the UN data platform for our users to get the most out of the UN data today. Next up, we have Kenny to run another poll by you. Thank you again.
Thanks, Darrell. Can you see my screen okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thanks, everyone. So we wanted to run a final poll here before we move into Q&A. And this is now that you understand a little bit more about the platform, or maybe already knew about it, but have now seen the updates that Darrell walked through. We're really interested in the kinds of queries that you would ask or have been asking already of UN data to potentially help your current or future work. So you'll see, I believe, in the chat, you'll see this come up as an option, and we'll give you a couple minutes here to respond. But basically, just looking at, yeah, just really interested in what your thoughts are here and the types of queries that you might be asking. So we'll give you a couple minutes to give your thoughts and feedback in the chat, and then we'll move to Q&A, look at some of the responses, also your responses on the previous polls, certainly on the SDGs, to just get an idea of the audience here, and certainly open it up for any questions in the chat, as well as direct questions as well to the whole team. So I'll give it a minute or two here. Thanks, everyone. And sorry about that, a little technical difficulty there, but we're back. Great. So I think we'll move to the Q&A section. And just as a quick start, and I already saw some questions coming in, which is great. We did sort of a word cloud that Teams allows from the various questions that are coming in. And I think some really interesting highlights here that I'll just sort of point out, and then I think we can start to dive in. There's some specific questions in the chat, and I'm sure other ones will come up as well. I think data availability, which we see here as a prominent one, is something that the team thinks regularly about, both in sort of recency of data availability and then quality and quantity as well. So these are things that are certainly high-level goals and milestones, and what we measure our progress and success against. So please keep those types of questions coming, and we'll review the questions that everyone submitted after, individually. But this is just sort of a way to understand in the macro what the group's thinking. I think country and progress here, and then SDG targets. So I think these are all fairly closely aligned as well, thinking about how we show what the SDG goals are, how we show progress, how we represent that in the platform, and then also allow the various users like yourselves to be able to access the data, export it, use it in your own analyses. So thinking about that interoperability, as Daniela mentioned, is something that we're very much focused on as well. I don't know, I think I can look at the chat, and there's a couple of questions here really quickly.
Yeah, and this is also to say, okay, we have now enabled microphones and cameras for all participants. So if you would like to ask a question, or if you have comments, maybe just raise your hand, and then you can come in directly. But in the meantime, Kenny, you can have a look at the comments or questions in the chat already, and maybe take one of those.
Yeah, give me 1 second here. It looks like I can't see the...
Or the others.
Yeah, maybe Daniela or Darrell, if you want to... It looks like I can't actually see the chat right now for some reason, but I think there's a couple... I saw a couple of them coming in, so...
Yeah, one of the questions I see from Hubar, in the search option, it would be helpful to add the definition of the series as a hover text. We are looking into things as we're able to ingest content. So we're surfacing what is available to us and working with our data partners. So these are great questions to ask, because these are the questions we'll need to keep asking our data partners as we ingest information. So yeah, keep those questions coming, but we're definitely working on helpful content to get users to that kind of data and information.
And then I do see the one right above that. So the question is this a data from Alexander Blackburn? Is this a data export just for the SDG data? So it doesn't yet include the other UN data sets. So right now it includes SDG and WHO on the live site. What Darrell's been showing you today is sort of our final staging site. So we expect early May, so in the next week or so, we should have both UNICEF and ILO data in there as well. So that's sort of like the current state, and then the very near future state is where we'll be at. And we have a blog as well. I guess we could have mentioned that. So we will be sharing out and on socials when we've added these new data sets, what's available, some interesting insights that you might be able to pull from them. So yeah, that's soon to come as well. So thank you for these questions, everyone. These are really good.
Kenny, maybe let me jump in here. I see another question. I see another question from Patrick Hernussi about data.un.org. So the question is, UN Data Platform, what shows at the top on a Google search is data.un.org, and the question is whether this platform called UN Data Commons. So UN Data, what is actually a project. What we are showing today is a project to modernize the UN Data Platform, and we are working into the integration of similar functionality that you see in data.un.org as well, so which is making data accessible to users using SDMX APIs, for example, and the ability to visualize the data in a more traditional tabular form. So we are moving towards that milestone, which will be based on a very similar functionality, but modern interface using .stat, which is also an open source project developed by the statistical community. So in the coming months, you will see that dataun.org and data commons will become integrated into a single package. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Luis, for this clarification. Are there any other questions? Please, again, just raise your hand if you have comments or questions, and we can take them. In the meantime, maybe I have a question. So you mentioned, okay, right now we have WHO and SDG data in the live side, and you mentioned that a couple of more partners will be integrated in the next 2 weeks or so. What is the timeline for further integrating data sets from other UN agencies, from UNSD and so on? Can you share something on that?
Yeah, so we have on the pipeline a couple of agencies to be onboarded in the rest of the year. So UNODC is an agency we have been engaging in preparatory work. So we expect that to be part of UN data before the end of the year. There is a number of other agencies that are part of the Committee of Chief Statisticians of the UN that are also with whom we are also engaging. Now, the priority that we will, or not the priority, also ECLAC is part of our pilot agencies that signed up for integration. We are also prioritizing as Daniela mentioned at the beginning, data sets that are maintained by DESA, this exhibition itself. No? So you will see coming in data sets from Comtrade, the different yearbooks that we produce, and so on from inside the statistics division. Our current sort of planning horizon is for the rest of the year and the first quarter of 2026.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, please go ahead.
No, I see a raised hand there. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, yeah, Habib, if you want to come in, please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Alex. Thank you so much for this. This is really interesting work. I mean, congratulations to you. Maybe you have covered it already. Sorry, in that case, what's your plan regarding, say, handling searches which use, words which are not standard, like which are not used in the series itself? For example, I just searched. I'm thinking about really common users, so non-expert users, right? And somebody may search like how many newborns die in Cambodia every year. I mean, I just did this. So what they really mean is that they're looking for is the infant mortality rate. So cases like those, what's your plan to handle them?
Yeah, no, that's a great question, Habib. And we are working with our technology partners from Data Commons also in ways to refine the natural language search capabilities. So what we are trying to do is to use a sort of enhanced approach to the search that is done using there's an LLM behind, a large language model behind, and we are trying to enhance this accuracy or this ability of our LLM to extract the correct terms and map them to the existing descriptions by exploiting the structure of the knowledge graph itself. So the LLMs are trained in finding semantic similarities between words, and so open queries are in principle supported, but we need to refine it so that we have a higher likelihood of hitting what is actually in our data by making the link to the descriptions of the series, by the groupings of the series, also the classifications within the series, and so on. So that's an ongoing process, and the refinement will be evolving over time. But that's something of great importance for our engineering work.
Thank you.
In a nutshell, this is all about exploiting properly the LLM behind.
Thank you. I mean, when you find a solution, please again present to us, because I think this can be very useful in our classification work as well.
Exactly. Yes. And if I may, I see also a question from Marcelo and regarding the APIs. So we have now presented to you the knowledge graph kind of side of the work, and that will be supporting new ways of querying the data through Sparkle endpoints and different the way of looking at the data from the knowledge graph perspective. Those are new API endpoints, but as I mentioned, we are also going to integrate the dimensional dataset data warehousing approach that is in data.un.org with SDMX APIs, which is quite standard APIs API endpoints. So that support will be continued when we migrate to the new phase of the data warehouse component.
Okay. Any other questions? Otherwise, I would have another one. So, will UN Data Commons currently always try to provide some data, even if the data is not yet onboarded or in the database, right? Or will it say, let's say if I search for trade data, you have mentioned that you haven't onboarded yet the trade data. So if I say, so how, what is the value of exports of the US, right? Will it try to provide some data, or will it say, oh, we don't have that data available yet?
So sometimes, I mean, if you look for export data in the data catalog pages, so well, on SDGs, for instance, you will find export in SDG indicators. No? You will find that there. If you're looking for a very specific kind of indicator that is not represented anywhere in the catalog, you will not get any result there. However, on the natural language search, works through semantic, similarity. So these algorithms will try to get you indicators that are closely related, or as closely as possible related to your search semantically. No, so you're looking for something about exports, you might end up with indicators about the economic growth and so on. But if this relationship is not close enough, you will get a warning that there is a low level of confidence that this is what you're searching.
Yeah, thanks for this answer. Again, any other comments, please raise your hand. This is your time to give feedback to this really important project, and it will help to make it better. So any comments, questions? Yeah, I see a hand up from Marcus Newbury, here also from UNSC. Please go ahead.
Hey, Alex, thanks very much. And thanks a lot to colleagues for presenting, and it's very interesting. Just wanted to draw attention, or maybe almost offer a comment or suggestion if the tone of the Q&A is about collecting feedback and so on. Yeah, if I compare this product to, say, getting GDP for the world, as I think you presented in your example, Darrell, I might have otherwise gone to Google and just typed it straight in, and maybe I'd get 8.8% or whatever the figure was, or maybe not. Or I might go to ChatGPT or otherwise. I just feel like with this product, because we are official statistics, the distinction between what we're doing here, or what the effort of the statistics division and so on is here, has got to be attaching like credibility and source citations really clearly, and like emphasizing that, because I think that's what might be one of the key distinctions between this product and the many other options that somebody has on a search engine. That was sort of one comment. And if you'd like to comment back on that and how you've sort of treated that along the way, I'd welcome your comments as well. And then secondly, and independent of that, what's the like successful case? So I used to work I'm from Australia. I used to work in my country's National Statistical Office. So typically you have a Census and Statistics Act, and that at a national level in Australia, maybe the health organisation or the health office equivalent, like the WHO, with whom you've had success here, is someone who's bought into this process. There might be a Census and Statistics Act that tells that empowers the Australian Bureau of Statistics to collect data from the health office and so on. What's the standard best practice for doing that at international level? I've grappled with this question for many years myself. Thank you.
Marcus, let me take a stab at this, and maybe Yongyi wants to comment as well, or my other colleagues in the team. On the value proposition, say, of UN data that you mentioned, I just think that we fully agree. No? So the data that you look for, or that you find in UN data, is exclusively that data provided by the UN partners, curated through this process of custodianship, say, of statistical data sets that they are mandated to collect and disseminate. So there is a guarantee that the data that you will get here has the seal of official statistics, and I think that's something valuable. So Yongyi mentioned at the beginning that well, either Yongyi or Daniela, sorry, I don't remember. One of no, it was Yongyi, that at the beginning of, and one of our aims is to make official statistics AI ready. That is also something important, that we expose this data that has been curated by international agencies, by domain experts, in a form that is easily consumable by third-party applications, so that hopefully as well, those third-party applications will be able to better distinguish what is official statistics, and the credibility and reliability of it will be will make that valuable for their users. Your question about the framework for collecting data, I'm not sure I fully understand, but please clarify if I'm mistaken. So I think what you're referring to is the governance mechanism that allows us to bring data from different agencies and to incentivize, the different partners to come with their data and bring it here together. So the aim of UN data is not to replace any of those platforms, ILO, WHO. They have incredibly sophisticated systems for their specialized users. Our aim is to be an entry point to make their data findable in conjunction with the whole ecosystem of official statistics in international domain. So for us, a measure of success is when users find the data here in UN data and find their way to their more granular, more refined data platforms, say from WHO, from ILO, from UNICEF. So our value proposition to them, to the partners, is that their data is findable, and then that users can find their way to their specialized needs. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, and in that sense, there's also this question by Alex Blackburn in the chat. So the current model gives the source as global SDG database. Can the original international source perhaps also be given in there? So this was one comment there. And I also see Ronald's hand up. So Ronald, please come in.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for the presentation and information. We with the current UN data, we stay very close to the community of official statistics and the presentation of data there. I know there is has been always been a lot of attention from the like the SG's office on what UN data does. Is there within those discussions, could you indicate if there would be any sort of how you say this a drive to add different kind of data also to the UN data commons platform other than the from the official statistics source? I mean, one thing that triggered it to me was also that in the cloud responses that we see UN info, which has a lot of different kind of data in there. Was there any kind of do you see any kind of opening that additional info would be added at some point?
Yeah, I mean, let me take a quick stab at this, and of course maybe Yongyi and other colleagues want to comment. I think we have a lot of opportunities for data integration due to the way in which the data is being organized. Our focus on UN data thus far is to bring together data from official statistics at the international level. No? So we are bringing data from across the UN system. Not only statistical data, as you've seen, we are also starting to add unstructured content like data stories, infographics. No? So that it's not only statistical data, but it's also the contextual information around that. One of the main challenges that we have in developing this type of systems is the governance. The technology is not so much the challenge, and I think it's a good strategy to rely on technology for the emergence of sort of a distributed system where we can work with other communities like the civil society providing data, citizen-generated data, or scientific communities, or inside the UN administrative data, where those data sets are probably maintained separately, but in a way that is interoperable, so that third-party applications can be built that pull the data from UN data and from other areas. So the short answer is by making the data interoperable, we don't need to host all the data ourselves. We make the data work together with other platforms that are maintained by entities that have the relevant mandates.
Thanks so much. Any further comments, questions? We still have like 2-3 minutes. Yeah, Daniel, please come in.
Thank you, Alex. Just to add to Luis's comment on the integration from else, we haven't done that, right? This integration with other data sets outside of the official stats, but the actual core technology with the Google Data Commons does that with multiple agencies. So they have a couple of CSOs using that's being fed into Data Commons. So like Feed America 1.org, those guys are also using our SDG data also, which we published is also being used for their reporting. So the process is there. It's the focus from our side right now is the official statistics and the partners to be onboarding. But I think that there is work that is done, which I take a look as an example.
Absolutely. Good. Yeah, so we're about to wrap up. So maybe as a final question in that sense is, how can people provide more feedback to you? What are the different ways of doing that? Maybe you can mention that.
Sure, I can take that, Luis, or do you want me to? Okay.
No, please go ahead.
I was actually about to post in the chat, so this works well. Yeah, I wanted to say thank you everyone for all the feedback, and certainly we always welcome input. So if you think of questions after the session, please do reach out. We have a couple of ways to reach out. On our website, there is a feedback form. I'll post it in the chat here right now. But essentially, we have that feedback form. I think it's statistics. Luis, correct me if I'm wrong here. It's statistics@un.org. I'll get the correct one and post it in the chat. We can follow up as well.
That's correct.
So those are probably the two best ways to reach out. The feedback form's on our website. I'll post the link here. I think those are probably the two best ways, right, Luis?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the more ideas we receive, the better able are we to support a broader set of users. Yep. Also, we are really looking for your feedback in terms of things that do not work, so that we do better.
Exactly.
Okay, so with that, maybe I can, first of all, Kenny, maybe you can unshare your screen right now, and then maybe I can encourage everyone on the call to switch on the camera and the microphone for a second, and then we can give our presenters a big round of applause. I think that would be great. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Thanks again for joining. So the recording of this, as usual, will be available on the global network of data officers and statisticians. The link was in the chat. It's yammer.com/UNstats. So if you haven't joined yet, please do. And yeah, see you next time in one of our webinars. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Have a nice day.